Hey guys, how's it going? I'm setting up this room real quick. This is a one-on-one mentoring session with Divine. So I'm going to set up this room real quick, send this link to Divine, and then we will be good to go. So let me just get this set up real quick. Once this is all set up, we should be good to go. So let me just get this going right here. We got that set up right there. Today's April 6th. Got this right here. Set that up. Cool. Got that loaded up right now. Time is at 1:52. This would have been an impossible entry right here, but I'm not going to take it. This market's been kind of funky today, so I haven't really taken too many trades, but that'd possibly be an entry. The only problem is the spread's coming up soon, so that's why I wouldn't take that trade. I got this all set up here. Let me get this link for Divine real quick. All right, Divine should be on their way. So everything's set up here. I'll get you guys a link for this group over here. All right, looks like we're good. Hey, Divine, how's it going? Can you hear me? Let's see, it's still connecting to your audio. So let me give it 1 second. I've been having some internet connectivity issues today. So let's see, are you good to go, Divine? Can you hear me? I think volume might still, I think you might be muted. If you want to unmute yourself, that might be the thing right there. Let's see, it still shows you're muted here on the, I see your mouth moving, but I see you on the Zoom. Looks like you're still muted on there. So there's a mute button that's on your little control panel on the bottom. It should be like a little bar, and then on the side, it'll say to unmute. Still looking for it? Let me see if I could, oh, is it on yours? Here, I'll type in the chat. Let me see. Let me just message you on this real quick. It might not have connected to your audio, so you might have to connect or like select the output device to your computer or something like that. But I'm looking at the Zoom right now. It shows that you're currently muted, but I can see your mouth moving, so I see that you're trying to talk. Yeah, I'll let you try to figure that out real quick. Let's see. Unless you want to type. I mean, if you can't fix it, we can just, I mean, typing is going to be a little more difficult, but if you can figure out that audio, that'd probably be good. You can probably go to your Zoom settings. Just go to your preferences, system preferences, and let me see if I can find it on my end. Let's see, meeting, actually Zoom right here, preference. I don't know if you can see my screen right here. Okay, I think you're going to rejoin. All right, let's go. Looks like Divine's going to make his way back in. Just message him over here. I'm just going to wait for him to come back in. So I think he's going to fix his audio real quick to get that set up. All right, here we go. Hey, Divine, I can see you're in the room now. I'm not sure if you're, I could see you. Can you hear me? See if it looks like you're unmuted now, but I still can't hear. I see your mouth moving, but I don't see anything. But it looks like you're fine. It might be your output device. Try to go into your Zoom settings. You might have to change the settings. I don't know if you can see my screen here, but if you can see, you just click on the Zoom preferences right here, and then you go to audio, and then for microphone, make sure that you have it set to I'm not sure if you're on a laptop. You can probably set it to your laptop or a microphone if you have a specific microphone on your end. Or, you know, you can do, you can probably call into the number here. Let me get you the call-in number, because you can probably just have it connect. Some people, they connect through their phone and they just have audio going through their phone, and then they have a video going. So let me see if I can get you the actual number for this right here. And then we can get you on here. Let me see if I can copy invitation. All right, let me send this over to you. There you go. So Divine, I just sent you the actual phone number. So if you want to call into it, you could do that too. And then you can probably just connect your audio through your telephone, because some people do that. They have it connected to their phone, and then they just have the video going off the actual Zoom. Let's see. All right, guys, let's see. See if you got it figured out, Divine. Let me see if I can get you here. Maybe I'll make you like a co-host. Maybe I'll fix it. Maybe yeah, I've never had this issue before with the audio, but I sent you the phone number on the Telegram if you want to pull that up, and then you can probably just call in, just have your phone like on speaker while we're on this session. That'd probably be the best option if we can't fix the you know, the audio on here. Still trying to fix it, Divine. I can still see. I can see you talking like on the camera, but I can't hear anything you're saying. I don't know if it's not me, because it shows that you're muted right there on the participants. It shows that your microphone is muted, so I'm not sure if let me see. Yeah, because if you go right here, there's like, I don't think you can see my toolbar, but there's like a toolbar for the Zoom, and then it has like a microphone right there where it says mute. And if you click the drop down, you can choose the output. So let me see if I could, I'm gonna drag this over here. I'm gonna take a screenshot and then I'll send it over to you. So I'll take a full screenshot of this so that you can see what I'm looking at. And then I will send this screenshot to you on, or I don't know if you can even see my screen right now. Let me just send the screenshot over to you through Telegram, and then we'll see if you could get that. All right. All right, cool. I sent you the picture on Telegram. So on Telegram right here, there's like a drop down, and then your mute right here is muted, or where it says this microphone thing, it shows on your end that it's muted. So you can either click that to unmute it, and then if you click that drop down, you can choose which output you want to use, and that should be able to fix it. Marcus, I'm not in this trade right now, dude. I just marked it up. I'm not in the trade because the swap's coming up soon. It's already 2 o'clock. So swap's coming up shortly. But I'm not in this trade right now. There's a couple of scalps here that would have hit. There was this one right here that would have hit. Oh, there we go. Divine, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
There we go. There we go. So what was the problem? Was it just wasn't connecting, or was it an issue with the?
Oh, I'm using my mobile telephone now. That's why. I
Okay,
don't
got.
know what. I tried to unmute it, but it wouldn't.
It's so weird. Yeah, I've never had the issue before, so I was trying to figure out the solution, but I couldn't figure it out. So I guess we're good now. So how's your day going? You doing good?
Not bad. How was yours? Or how was yours? Because it's
Uh,
good.
yeah, it's been all right. I didn't really take too many trades. I just took one trade during the live. I made profit off that, so I made a pretty decent profit off it. It's not normal profits. It was like a couple $100, so it's not what we're used to, but it's profit. It's not a loss. So that's the main thing there.
It's not less. You're right.
Exactly. Did you take any trades today, or you were just watching?
Yeah, I tried trading on gold, man.
Oh,
That's
gold, huh? I don't like gold, but
uh,
so when you trade gold, which strategy do you use? I'm just curious because a lot of people like to trade gold. Some people are successful, some people aren't. So I'm curious, which one did you use?
yeah, I was trying to like buy on the break,
Uh-huh.
but I don't know for some reason I just can't like keep still. I keep buying early and coming out early
Oh,
as
too
well.
early. You don't wait for the confirmation, right?
I hope for that. That's the problem. At least I know what the problem is. So.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. As long as you know the problem, you can fix it. That's the main thing. We were actually looking at that today. So let me see. I think there were a couple good entries for gold. So I was analyzing that for a couple people today. Yeah, like a couple right here. I don't know. Were you applying it on the 4 hour or are you doing it on the shorter time frame?
A 4 hour, but then trying to buy in 15 minutes.
Oh, okay, okay, gotcha. Yeah, no, yeah, no, that works too sometimes. I mean, it just depends on what you're applying. I personally don't really trade gold, so I can't really give you a good recommendation of what works and what doesn't. But
Yeah.
one of the new members, Sharul, he's been applying Josh's scalp strategy on gold, and he's been finding success.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's been doing this 3 minute here. He uses this
Yeah.
on gold. Let me see if I could find any possible entries here. Um, let's see if we have one here possibly. So I think there's one like maybe, yeah, like right here. Are you familiar with Josh's 3 minute strategy?
Yeah, I did watch the video that you did live with him the other day.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. I think, let me see what he's been doing because he's been changing the strategy too, but he's been applying it and I guess it's been working for him. He has a pretty decent win rate on it, but I don't know if it's enough for you to really make real use of it because I just looking here, looks like this trade right here would have been a loss right here, obviously, but this trade over here looks like it would have been a win right there. So if we took this trade here, yeah, this one would have lost, but then this one would have won. And I think there was a couple here as well. Yeah, another one right here as well for another buy. Looks like another win right there too.
Basically, what he does is he takes each and every trade on the momentum. Or...
I believe so. He sent me here. Let me see if I could find his Excel sheet. He actually sent me an Excel sheet yesterday. He's still working on this because he just joined K2 I think on Sunday, and he just started playing around with it, and he figured out some stuff that actually works well. Um, Yeah, so he tested it for certain days. I guess he tested it on March 1st. He has an 80% win rate. He took every trade. Uh, yeah, it looks like 80% win rate on the first, and then on the second, he had a 93.7% win rate. He has pretty high win rate.
And
Some
that would
days
be
some
gold.
days are not so good. Like this one is 69% win rate, but overall, I think overall it's above at least like 70% overall. So I think it's a good strategy. I think he just needs to work on it a little more to fine tune it. And I think once he's done with it, he will give us, the details for this strategy.
So he's been trading on gold as well.
Yeah, he mainly trades gold. So he just signed up to K2 I think on Sunday. So he's been trading Sunday, Monday, and then is today Tuesday or Wednesday? I can't remember the date. I think today is Tuesday. Yeah, so he's been trading it all throughout. He was back testing it from March, and then he's been trading it uh, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and he's been doing pretty good. So I guess once he figures out, the details for this, he'll share it with us. But just looking at his results here, I guess all the green are wins, the red are losses. The first week of March looks like he had a lot of good trades overall. So once he gets more detailed with it, I'll share it with you guys as well, and then we'll try to apply this more because I don't trade gold myself. I think it's too risky. It's very unpredictable. So I personally don't trade it. All right, cool. So what do you want to cover today? This is your session, so any question that you have, we'll cover.
Yeah. To be honest, I just really wanted to like understand the strategy, how you go about it, like 10 minutes.
Okay, the snipe strategy, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And you apply it on US 30, correct?
No.
Or are you applying it on something else?
Something else.
Okay, so which one do you apply it on? We can pull it up and we can look at it.
The the London, is it the FTSE?
Oh, the FTSE?
No, sorry. Let me just because I'm new. Very new. I don't know that much. The FTSE 100.
Sorry, what was that, Giovanni? I couldn't hear you. It's the
FTSE 100. FTSE 100?
for US 30, are we looking at something else?
FTSE 100.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's gonna be UK 100. So FTSE 100. So you like to trade this. Here, let's see if we could find some entries here, and then we can go over, the requirements. Or is there like an entry that you might have lost and you're curious why it lost, or do you just want to look at any entry?
To be honest, I really don't understand the strategy. That's just
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, no, we'll do it from scratch, and that's gonna be easier for us to just cover it that way. So let me see. I'll go over here. So first thing here, I'll put the requirements here first so that we know what we're following. So this is going to be the K² snipe strategy. So first you want to confirm a wick rejection off K² pivot, which can be any pivot. Two, confirm wick rejection off K² SAR zone. And then lastly, confirm wick rejection off K² pivot does not touch candle body. If all of those are met, then you can enter on the open of the following candle. So there we go. We have all the requirements right there. What I'm going to do is I'm just looking for the most recent entry. It looks like the most recent entry would be, let's see if I can find something. Okay, right here. Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the K2SR so we can clean up the chart. I will turn off the momentum indicator because we don't use that. And then I will replay this to this area over here. Okay, so looking at this first candle right here, this green one, we're going to go down the requirements. So the first requirement is to confirm a wick rejection off the K² pivot, which can be any pivot. So looking at this green candle right here, you can see that this wick right here, this lower wick, is rejecting off both the red and orange pivot, right? So with that said right there, that's going to satisfy the first requirement because we just want to confirm a wick rejection off the K² pivot. It could be any pivot. It doesn't matter if it's the green pivot, yellow pivot, red pivot, orange pivot, as long as it's rejecting off one. So after rejecting off that right there, that's going to be the first requirement. The second requirement is that we confirm a wick rejection off the K2SR zone. So for example, right here, you can see that this wick right here is rejecting off this zone right here. So with that said, we have satisfied the second requirement here. Lastly, you just want to confirm that the wick rejection off the pivot. So you just want to make sure that none of these pivots that it's rejecting off, or mainly the main pivot that we're focused on, is not touching the candle body. So right here, you can see that it's rejecting off both the red and orange pivot, but neither of them are touching the candle body. So with that said, it's satisfied all requirements here. And last thing here is to enter on the open of the falling candle. So after that, we enter a long position right here. I personally don't trade the UK 100, so I don't know what the sweet spot is. Generally, if that's the case, then I'll either put the stop loss around the middle of the pivots, which would be about 100 pips, or at the previous swing. This seems a little too far. It's about almost 300 pips. So I probably wouldn't take that. I probably would maybe increase it a little bit. So maybe not right at the middle of the pivots, but maybe around like 120 or 150 pips. You can ask in the group to see, because there's certain people in the group who trade this specifically and they'll know the sweet spot. So they would know the exact number, but just looking at this from, a bird's eye view, it looks like this would probably be the sweet spot for this specific entry. So with that said, once you have those requirements met, you can let the trade run, and there you go, full TP with no drawdown. So do you get the requirements there, or is there something that you're confused with? So you can cover that, make sure that you understand it.
Yeah. So what I was gonna ask as well is so this is on the 10 minutes chart, right?
Yes, that's correct.
So yeah. So where on what time frame do you like draw the line?
10-minute. So everything is done on the 10-minute time frame.
On the 10-minute as well.
Yes. So we draw the zones on the 10-minute, and we identify our entries on the 10-minute as well. So do you get these requirements here, or is there something that you're confused with, so that we can pinpoint?
No, I get this requirement. Like, okay. What I'm asking is, on what time frame? Like, I know you take the trade on 10 minutes, but do I draw like my key levels on 4 hour, 1 hour?
Oh no, it's always been on the 10-minute. We've never gone above. It's always, everything is done on the 10-minute. The snipe strategy, everything is done on one time frame. You don't change any time frames. So the zones are drawn on the 10-minute. The entries are identified on the 10-minute. Nothing's changed. You just stay on the 10-minute.
Normally, what I used to do is I would draw the zones on the 4 hour. And then come down.
Yeah. So the zones are so far, right, compared to where price is. Yeah, that's a common mistake, because so the problem is a lot of people, they confuse the strategies. Like some people apply the K2SR strategy that's done on the 4 hour, and then they try to combine it with the snipe strategy, and they're totally different strategies. Like the SR strategy is an intraday strategy, so that's done on the higher time frame. The snipe strategy is a scalp strategy, so it's done on the shorter time frame, where we just focus on that specific area. Because if you're like, for example, here, let me just go back here. So for example, if you're looking at this here on the 4 hour, let's see if there's any zones in this area, possibly. I don't know. We'll see. Actually, there would be a zone here, but it's way too big of a zone. So if you were to draw this big one here, and then we go down to the 10-minute, actually it looks like you still have some entries here. So it looks like you would actually have more entries, but obviously it's going to be a little more difficult to identify how accurate it is. Like, for example, we have an entry here. We wouldn't have this entry off the 10-minute, but if you were to do it on the 4 hour, this still would have hit profit target right there. Same situation right here. This one looks like there's another entry right there. So there's no, I'm not saying that you can't do it on a higher time frame, because other people do. I'm sure you've seen in the group, other people create their own strategies. They make their small adjustments to what we're applying. But to be more accurate, we just use a 10-minute. So just looking here on the 4 hour, even if you're applying it on the 4 hour, it looks like there's still good entries here that you could have taken. So all of these would have hit profit target. This one would have won. This one would have won. Also, this one over here, there's another entry at this point. This would have won the trade as well. So it looks like if you were applying it on there, you still would have won about 4 more trades right here.
So one more question.
Yeah.
How do I identify when I'm supposed to go long or short using the strategy?
Sorry, what was that, Divine? Sorry, your audio kind of broke up a little bit, so I couldn't hear what you were saying.
How do I identify when I'm supposed to go long or short using this strategy?
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. So let me just show you real quick. So right here, you can see that the rejection's from the bottom, right?
Yeah.
wick rejections from the bottom. So if the wick rejections from the bottom, that's going to indicate that price is going upwards, right? So if you were to, let's just replay it back to this area here. So if you have the wick rejection from the bottom, then obviously you're going to take a buy, right? Because you see the price pushing upward. So if the wick rejections from the bottom, then you take the buy. Vice versa, if the wick rejection is from the, let me see if I could find a sell here. See, I'll go back to, let's see. Nothing here. Let me see if I can go back to this area. Maybe we can find, possible sell here. Okay, perfect, right here. I'll draw this zone right here. Turn this off. Okay, I'll go over here. So you can see the difference here because over here we have the wick rejection from the top, right? If the wick rejection is from the top area for this green candle right here, you can see the wick rejections from this top area. Then this is indicating that the rejections from the top. So if that becomes the case, then we're looking for a short position right here. So if you take the short position there and then you let this run, it's let's see, there you go, full TP with no drawdown, straight to TP. So that would be the difference. The difference if you're taking a short or a long is if the rejections from the bottom or from the top. If the rejections from the top, then you take a sell. If the rejection is from the other area, so that's for a sell. And then we'll go back to the one that we were looking at over here. Let's see where it's at. Oh, it's kind of far. Or actually, let me see. There's one entry right here, I think. Yeah, so I'll go here. So this would be a sell because it's rejecting from the top. This right here, or this is not an entry actually. Let me see if I could keep going. Maybe we could find something over here. Nothing there. So I'll just go back to the same one that we looked at earlier. So as you can see right here, the wick rejections from the bottom, this will be a buy. And over here, the wick rejection is from the top. So this would be a sell. Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah. So how do I put how many pips am I targeting if I'm going in for a buy, sell? How do I know where to put my take profit?
Yeah, so to do that, there's a couple different ways to do it. Like for example, here, if you were to take this sell right here, well, you'd have to understand the sweet spot, right? The only reason I know the sweet spot for US 30 is because I trade it every day, so I know how it moves. I don't trade UK 100, so I don't know what the sweet spot is. But in order to determine this, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can usually, so here's one way. You just hit this reset chart button right here. You click on the short positioning tool, then you click right there. And then this will generally place the, it'll set it for you. Do you know how to use the auto feature for TradingView? Like what I just did right now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So if you do that, if you hit reset chart, you click the short positioning tool and then you click there. What happens is TradingView automatically plots your TP stop loss. Basically what they do is they calculate what the previous swing would be, which would be right here, because you can see price obviously comes down and then it comes back up. So in this area right here, this is going to be the previous swing. And from there, it's going to calculate the ATR, which is the average true range. So if you want to do this, you can use this. This is going to be one way to identify where your TP stop loss is going to be. And if you were to let this run, looks like it works perfectly fine, right? Full TP right there. So that's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is to do it manually. If you want to do it manually, you can just place your stop loss at the previous swing. So do you know how to identify the swings?
No. Is it using the K² indicator, or do I have to
so the swing is going to be manual. So like basically, let me just take everything off the chart right here. So to identify the swing, you just want to identify where price is swinging from, right? So this would be considered a swing high. And then from this swing high, you can see price comes down and then you see where it bounces from this area right here, right? So from this area, this would be the swing low. From this area, price goes up and this would be considered the swing high. So this adjusts to down here. And then from here, you can see price comes down to this area. This becomes a new swing low. So as price again comes back up right here, this is now considered the swing high. And then from there, that's where you can consider where your stop loss would be. Sometimes it works well, sometimes it doesn't. It depends on what you're trading, because sometimes a swing high is too close to price. So for example, right here, if you were to click this and you put your stop loss right there, that's too close. It might go up, hit your stop loss, and then after that, straight to your profit target. It happens a lot. So if this happens right here, you might want to use the previous swing. But then sometimes, like I mentioned earlier, the previous swing is over here, but this might be too high, right? So if this is too high, this is like what, almost 2,000 pips. That's very far. So it's kind of hard to determine unless you understand, where to place your stop loss. So in some instances, if you're not sure, what I generally do is I just let TradingView do it for me. So I did what we did previously. I just zoom out, and then you place your short position right there, and there's going to be your TP stop loss. But this is something that you kind of have to practice and learn, because you have to, especially for indices, it moves so fast. So you have to understand, what's a sweet spot. What I recommend is just asking in the group, because a lot of people do trade the UK 100. A lot of our members that are located in the UK, they trade this. So you can just ask them and see what they use. I think it's around 150 and 200 from what I remember, because I don't trade this, so I don't know myself. But from looking at other people's profits, let's see. You can probably just look at the profits. Like if you look in the group here and see who's like what people are trading, you can see who's trading UK 100. So let's just scroll over here real quick. Let's see, not them. There's a lot of messages here. What you can do is probably go to the alerts right here where I post everyone's profits. And then you can just scroll down here and you can see who's trading UK 100. So right here, so Cheryl's one of the people that trades UK 100 right here. You can see from her trades, you can just message her like, hey, Cheryl, what's the sweet spot for UK 100? And then she'll tell you. I don't know who else here trades UK 100. Let's see. There's a few other people here I've seen in the profits. No, Uncle. Let's see. Oh yeah, so Uncle trades you. Oh no, he trades NASDAQ 100. Let's see. Or I'll just ask for you. It's gonna be easier. You guys, does anyone know what this spot is for UK 100 snipes? Okay, so I'll ask them for you here, and then hopefully someone responds quickly. But I think from my experience, I think it's around 150 to 250, and that seems like the sweet spot right here. It looks like, so let's see, 150 looks good from here, and I think 250 looks okay too. I mean, it's kind of far off, but it still doesn't look too far. Actually, no, it might be too far. Let's see. Actually, no, 250 looks okay too. So I think between 150 and 250 would be your sweet spot. I think anything over 250 might be too far out. Let's see if this ends up hitting TP. Yeah, so it does hit TP, but it's kind of far, right? So maybe your sweet spot might be 200 or 150, because these scalps, you're supposed to be hitting TP within a few, like not that long. This takes about 9 hours. It's a long time. So you want to... Yeah, you want to hit it maybe within a couple hours, maybe less than an hour. So if that's the case here, looks like your sweet spot might be around 150. So if 150 is your TP stop loss, it looks like you will hit your profit target maybe like less than 2 hours. So that seems about right, especially during this time, because this is during US session. So it's not even during your London trading session. So let me go over here real quick. I'll go back to where we were looking earlier, and I'll see what the, or what we can do is we can look. Do you normally trade London session or do you trade US session? Because that could be a difference too, depending on what session. Sometimes it's faster, sometimes it's slower.
No, normally I trade the US, trade New York.
US session? Okay. So if you trade US session, it looks like this is US right here, since this happens around 10 o'clock. This entry right here looks like it appears to be, sweet spot would be around 150. That might be what it would be. Okay, perfect. So Sam here, he's in the chat. He says, I think you got the sweet spot right for UK 100, Shawn. 150 to 200. Okay, so generally around 150 to 200, that should be what you're aiming for. I would probably just go for 150 because 200, you want to get in and out of the trade quickly. You don't want to be too worried about your trade, thinking about it, and worried, whether it's going to reverse on you. Yeah. So you can use 150 for a bit. If you end up hitting stop loss, it's too often, then maybe just make it a little bit wider.
Makes sense.
Perfect.
So basically, one of the mistakes I was doing was marking my chart on the 4-hour and coming looking for trade on 10 minutes and not really knowing I'm in the zone or I'm way too in the zone or not. So this makes more sense now. It's clearer for me. You can see that, okay, it works better on the 10 minutes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the 4-hour, like we looked earlier and it looked okay, but the zones are too wide. So you don't know if it's like rejecting off the zone or not. So it makes it a little more difficult. And that's why we want to focus more so on the on snipes, where it's like, there's only a few entries every day, but those entries usually work out pretty fine. Yeah. So is there anything else you want to cover for UK 100, or do you want to look at something else?
I think we should look at something else. Maybe cable or GJ.
Sure. And do you apply that with the scalp strategy, the snipe strategy as well, or do you use it for the 4-hour?
Do you work with this strategy? I was gonna ask.
It does, but the problem with trading it with Forex is, it doesn't move as fast. So the problem with that is, so we'll go over to the cable. Let's see GU real quick. Let's see. So GU here. Let's see if we could find some entries here. The main problem with scalping the strategy off of the 10-minute is that price doesn't move very much. Like for example, here we have an entry. Here, I'll just mark this up right over here. Okay. So looking at this here, I'll just rewind to this candle right here. I'll hide this. Yeah, so looking at this red candle right here, it looks like there's going to be an entry right here. The problem with trading this for scalping is, depending on your spread, if your spread is very wide, it's going to be hard for you to really make profit, right? Because for example, here, if you want to place your stop loss at the swing here, it's only 7 pips and your spread is 4.5 pips. So your spread is going to cost more than the trade, because you have to pay the spread going in and then pay the spread going out. So you technically need to make 9 pips to make any profit. So it's a little difficult to do it on the 10-minute. What I recommend, if you want to trade this strategy on Forex, I would trade it on something a little higher, maybe the 30-minute. I've seen some people use it on the 1 hour too, and it works well. So it's up to preference. It's the only problem with trading it on the 30-minute is that it's not really going to be a scalp anymore. It's going to be more of an intraday trade, because you're going to be holding it, each candle is 30 minutes. So instead of holding it with indices, we hold it for maybe, 10 minutes, 30 minutes. For Forex, you'll probably be holding these trades for about maybe a couple hours. But if you're okay with that, then it's fine. Here, so let's see if there's any entries here. Yeah, so like right here, that's perfect. So let me just mark this right here, the most recent entries. Let me just draw these zones right here. So we have a zone right here. We have another zone right here. And then I'll just turn this off. Okay, so this is where price currently is. It looks like the first entry is going to be, let's see, right over here. Okay, so right here, you can see that this, and I'll change the color of this pivot. I know a lot of people ask me to change the color. They said it's hard to see for the yellow. So I'll just change it to blue so it's easier for you to see. This red candle right here, you can see that it is rejecting off this wick over here, right? So with that said, same requirements, K2 snipe strategy. First, wick rejection off K2 pivot. 2, wick rejection off K2 SR zone. And then lastly, wick rejection of K2 pivot does not touch candle body. And then lastly, enter on the open of the following candle. So same strategy here. You can see for this red candle, we have the wick rejection off this pivot. We have the wick rejection off this K2 SR zone right here. We have the, we just confirmed that this pivot isn't touching the body, which it isn't. So with that said, you can enter a short position right here. Again, I don't trade this myself, so I don't know what the sweet spot is, but I'm assuming it would be about maybe 25 pips. Looks fine to me. 25 or 30 pips. I think that would probably be the sweet spot for this. That's only just because I see it. Like generally, this is something that you would have to figure out by practicing. I only know the sweet spot for US 30 because I back tested it like years back, so I know exactly what the sweet spot is for something like GU. I don't trade it as often, especially not for scalping, so I don't know what the sweet spot is. But if we let this run, let's see. Yeah, it might be too tight. Maybe 30 pips might be the sweet spot for GU. Well, actually, this is too tight anyways. The swing is up here. So as you can see, we have the swing high right here, swing low right here, and then the swing high swings up to here. So it might be a little higher. Okay, this might be too far though. This is like 40 pips. This is no longer a scalp. At this point, this is like intraday, maybe longer than intraday because this is a bigger move. So maybe it'd be somewhere in between here. 30 pips, 35 pips. I mean, it's really up to you what your risk tolerance is, but the main key is not to have it too close. Cause like I showed you right now, if your TP was if your stop loss was too close, 25 pips, you would have hit your stop loss, right? If you had it a little higher to 30, you probably would have survived this trade. Because sometimes this happens, like you'll have some pullbacks and your main goal is to not lose the trades because these scalps obviously hit. It's just surviving it long enough to hit your TP right there, right?
So is there any other strategy that works with indicators on Forex?
Yeah, all of them. We have like 6 strategies so I'm not sure which one. That's why the thing is like there's options for you, but you would have to like figure out which one you like because they're all different. So here, let me show the strategies real quick. Let me pull it up. There's because I can help you master it. It's just you need to let me know which one you like, and then we can focus on that. Because if you want to focus on the snipe strategy, we can focus on it. The only problem is figuring out sweet spots because you're like the pairs that you like to trade are not what I normally trade. But looking over here, see, we have like all of these are all Forex strategies. We have the intraday strategy, we have the momentum pullback strategy, we have all of these scalping strategies, about 3 different ones here. We also have the K2 SR strategy, the K2 pivot strategy, and I think that's it for now. So we have about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 strategies that you can use for Forex. So depending on which one you like, I can show you. It just depends on.
Yeah. If you could just show me like the momentum pullback strategy.
Okay. So the momentum pullback strategy, let's go back and delete everything off here. We don't use the pivots for that strategy. We use the trend meter actually. So let me add that to the list here. All right. So let's adjust this. I think we have the default settings. Okay, perfect. So for this strategy right here, the indicators that we're using are going to be the, it's going to be the, here, I'll just put it here. K2 momentum pullback strategy. So indicators, or I'll put K2 indicators used, are going to be the K2 momentum indicator and K2 trend meter. These are the only indicators that you use for this strategy. And let's see, requirements is you're going to identify a valid K2 momentum signal, to confirm trend meter is opposite momentum signal, and lastly, I think that's it. You can enter on the open of the following candle. So looking at this right here, let me see if I could find an entry for you, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Let's see. Okay, perfect. Like there's one right here. So let me go over here. All right, so right here, the indicators that we're using are going to be the K2 momentum indicators, which is going to be these vertical lines right here. We could actually go to this one here because there's two entries, so I can show you two back to back. So right here, a few things that we're looking at are going to be the momentum signals and the trend meter down here. Are you familiar with how these indicators work?
Not really.
Okay, got you. Okay, so the momentum indicators are going to indicate momentum, right? So you can see obviously right here, we have a valid sell signal.
Okay, yeah.
Momentum swings down, right? You have a valid buy signal, but the trend is down. This is going to be a retracement signal. But sometimes it moves up. Like right here, we have a momentum signal. It goes up slightly before it comes back down. The trend meter down here is going to indicate the overall trend. So if you go to the settings here, you can change the inputs depending on what you're looking for. If you're looking for the intraday trend, then you can set it to, my preference is a 30-minute, 1 hour, 2 hour, and 4 hour, so that you can see what the overall trend is on these 4 time frames. So if you're trading intraday, you want to know what's going on, 4 hours from now, 8 hours from now, 12 hours from now. So if you have this set up right here, whenever all of these time frames are trending in the same direction, it's going to turn red right here. Vice versa, when price is trending up, you can see that it turns green right here. When it's blue, this means that price is in consolidation and it's just going sideways. And you can see here, it's kind of obvious. So let me just turn off the momentum indicator right here. See where it's blue right here? Price is just going sideways, right?
Yeah.
Right here, it's red. You can see prices going down from here. Right here, it's green. You can see prices going up. So this just gives you the overall trend. So if you want to see what the trend looks like overall, this right here, this color will show you what's going on. So depending on what strategy you're applying, if you're applying the momentum pullback, basically what you're looking for is you're looking for a trend in a specific direction. So price is trending up here. And what you're looking for is an opposite signal because you're catching that momentum pullback. So momentum is going up, but you catch the little pullback right here. As you catch this pullback, you enter when it swings back up, right? And then you hit your TP over there. So that's basically the gist of this strategy. So now that you understand what these indicators do, I'll show you an example of how this works. So let's go back over here real quick. I'll turn on the momentum indicator. Okay, so right here, first requirement is identify a valid K2 momentum signal. So right here, we have a valid buy signal, right? So this is indicating that momentum is swinging up. However, if you look at the trend meter down here, the trend is down. So instead of this indicating that price is actually going to go up, this is just a retracement because obviously right here, price is coming down and then it hits a rejection point right here. And then now it's just retracing, right? Since trend is going down, this is going to indicate that this momentum swing upwards is just temporary. It's not going to be a long-term push. So looking at this strategy right here, we've identified a valid K2 momentum signal. The second requirement, so we're going to check that off right here. The second requirement is to confirm the trend meter is opposite of the momentum signal. The reason for that is because we're looking for pullbacks. We're looking for small retracements, and we want to catch the move back down because right here, you can see that the trend is red, right? So what we're looking for here is we're looking for a small retracement, and then we will catch this as it comes back down. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Just want to make sure you're understanding it. All right, so with that right there, we have the first requirement right here. We have a valid signal. The second requirement, we confirm that the trend meter is opposite. So with that said, we cross that off. Last thing is to enter on the open of the following candle. Or actually, sorry, this is going to be enter on the low of the following candle for a sell. I'm just going to put this there because the entries are going to be different for buys and sells. So 3A or 3B. All right, so that's 3A. 3B is going to be enter on the high of the following, signal candle. Signal candle for a buy. So for example, right here, since trend is down, we're looking for a sell. So we're going to go with 3A right here. So we're going to enter on the low of the signal candle for a sell because the trend is down. So this is just a small retracement. So what we'll do is we'll enter right over here with the sell stop. So if we have this set up right here, depending on like where you want to put your stop loss TP, like I mentioned, we usually put it at the swing. So it might be somewhere over here. I'd probably put it around maybe 25 because this looks like the swing up here. It can be either up there, which would be around 30 pips, or it can be around 25, depending on where you want to put the swing, because there's a swing right here. So obviously right here is a swing up. We have the swing down. This would be the swing up right here. And then it swings back down right here. And it also swings back up right here. So there's different areas that you can place it. You can place it here. Let me just move this over. So you can place it here. You can place it here. It's really up to you depending on your risk tolerance. If you're going for a bigger move, you can go for the full swing. If you want to go for a medium move, you can go for the second swing. If you want to go for a quick move, you go for the most recent swing right here. So about 26 pips. I guess we can round it to like 30. That might be the good not sweet spot, but it'd be a good area for this current movement. We got this set up right there. With that said, when we enter this trade right here, this is going to be a sell stop order. Do you understand how the order types work?
Yeah.
Yeah, because price is above here. So you'll have a sell stop. So as soon as price comes back down, it's going to automatically fill your order, right? So it's a pending order. So with that said, you place your sell stop right there. Right here, price currently hasn't filled your order because price hasn't come down to entry point. Right there, automatically you're in the trade. And then you let it run, full TP, right? So that's pretty much it. This goes hand in hand with the intraday strategy. Are you familiar with the intraday strategy?
Not really.
Okay, so the intraday strategy, instead of looking for an opposite momentum signal, you're looking for it to match. So if you look at all the strategies that we have here, they kind of all have like the same type of strategy, but it's just different entry points. So if you're applying the intraday strategy above here, then instead of taking this entry right here, you would instead take this one over here. Because for the intraday strategy, you're just matching. If it's red and red, then you enter a sell position there. Same situation, you let it run. That also hits full TP right there as well. So it's like the same strategy. It's just the entry point's different. For the momentum pullback, your entry is going to be above here. So you get a better entry. For the intraday strategy, you get a late entry, but you get better confirmation because you already know that momentum is going to be coming down with the trend. So the intraday strategy is trading with the trend. The momentum pullback is counter trend trading. So they're kind of similar, but they're also different in like small ways, just depending on the requirements. The requirements just vary slightly differently, but the entry is pretty much the same thing. And then if you wanted to apply the snipe strategy, the same situation right here, right? Let's see. So as you can see, a lot of these strategies, they're all the same. It's the same thing. It's just different entry point. So if you want to apply the snipe strategy here, same thing again right there, right? We have a rejection from this red candle right here. So you have 3 entries. If you're applying all 3 strategies, you have an entry here for the snipe strategy as well. So if we turn this off, you have another entry right here, right? You have the rejection off the pivot, rejection off the structure. You enter that right there. Maybe shoot for like 30 pips. So it doesn't matter which strategy you apply for K2. They all hit full TP, right? TP for snipe strategy, TP for intraday strategy, TP for momentum strategy, momentum pullback. I mean, it doesn't matter what you're applying. They'll all win regardless, whatever you're applying. So that's why when I tell you like you can learn any strategy, they're all the same thing. It just depends on, you need to figure out what you like to use, but they all work. So it doesn't matter if you're using the intraday strategy, if you're using the momentum pullback strategy, if you're using the snipe strategy, they all win.
Basically, I was trying to use the pullback strategy, the momentum pullback one, but I was doing it wrong completely. Like, oh my god. Okay.
Yeah,
I was doing like completely wrong because I was trying to do it like, you see the way George is doing this 3 minutes like strategy that we're working.
Mhm.
So I was trying to take every momentum bar that comes in. If it's down, up, I'll just take it. Like, okay, keep my eye on it. Let me see what's it doing. Put them in. But, oh my God, now I see. Okay,
Yeah,
makes sense.
and then even if you wanted to apply, so this is three strategies already. They're the same entry, right? Same thing. If you want to apply the K2 pivot strategy, that's another one if you want to apply too. For the K2 pivot strategy, we look for the retracement from here. We identify the trend. It's trending down because price is below the pivots. So trending down, retracement, rejection from this point, sell signal right here. This strategy lines up exactly with the intraday strategy. So if you're applying any of the K2 strategies, so I already went over 4 strategies with you here. So if you apply any of them, any one of them, you apply the intraday strategy, momentum pullback strategy, the pivot strategy, the snipe strategy, it doesn't matter which one to apply. They're all going to win regardless because they're all going to be the same trade, just different entry points.
Yeah.
So depending on, that's why whenever I talk to someone that's new, I always emphasize to focus on just one strategy because they're all the same thing. It's just different requirements, different entry points. So it doesn't matter if you like the snipe strategy, you like the intraday strategy, you like the momentum strategy, it's going to be the same thing. It's just, you need to figure out what you like. Cause sometimes people like to, some people are lazy. They want only like 1, 2 requirements. They're like, okay, I'll do the Josh strategy. Or sometimes they want more requirements because they want to be more careful. Then they'll apply the snipe strategy, right? There's different strategies, but it's basically the same thing because every strategy is based off momentum. We identify momentum and then we just ride the wave. Like for example, here, we have the momentum down here because we have the trend down. We have a momentum signal. All we're really doing at this point is we're just catching that wave, right? We catch the wave as it goes down. So, yeah, if you could find one that you like, I can help you like more in detail, right? So just if there's one specific strategy that you like are familiar with and you think is easy for you,
I think
then
I like the pivot strategy.
oh yeah. So the pivot strategy, I'm sure it looks familiar to like Josh's strategy, right? Because he trades, like when he has the trend trade, that's pretty much the pivot strategy. It's just for him, he just takes off, 2 of the pivots here. He takes off those 2, but it's the same thing. You're just looking at less pivots. So if you're using the pivot strategy, it just gives you a little more confirmation because you can kind of see how price is moving versus just looking for less requirements. Like Josh's strategy, it's very simple, but there's more room for mistakes because there's less requirements. It's too easy. So like you're gonna run into more trades, but not every trade is going to be very accurate. It just depends on what you're trying to apply.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, I'm glad we had the session so we could clear this up for you because it's
Oh yeah, it's like I can see clearly now. Oh my God.
yeah, no.
Crazy, because I had all these tools, but I just didn't know how to use it. And I kept saying, okay, I'm gonna try this way, try the other way, and see if I kept making silly mistakes and just lose trades. But now I see how simple it is. Just apply it the right way. Makes
Exactly.
sense.
Yeah. So what I recommend is just find one that you like. You said you like the pivot strategy. So what I recommend is just focus on that because I see a lot of people, they go from one strategy to another strategy and there's confusion there, right? Because you mix the requirements together for one strategy, another one. But if you just focus on just the pivot strategy, like, if I put the requirements here for your pivot strategy, K2 pivot strategy. So first you just want to confirm trend using the K2 pivots, to confirm retracement, 3 confirm rejection, and then 4 confirm valid K2 momentum signal. And then that's it. After that, you enter on the open of the following candle. This is actually one of my favorite strategies. So if you like this one, I think this is very accurate. It's a good strategy to use. And it's more requirements, but it's not really that difficult once you actually understand it. So first you want to confirm the trend, and I'm sure you understand how that works. To confirm the trend, you just want to make sure that price is below or above the pivots. The pivots are angling in the same direction and they're spread out. So for example, right here, this is going to be the first requirement because price is trending down right there. So with that said, we can knock off first requirement. Second requirement, confirm retracement. So price comes down right here. It retraces from this point. So that's requirement number 2. 3 is confirm rejection. Right here, price comes up from that retracement, rejects off this point. That's requirement number 3. Number 4, confirm valid K2 momentum signal. Right here, we have a valid sell signal. So that's pretty much it. All the requirements are met. And you can enter on the open of the following candle. You enter a short position right here. Your stop loss will be at the previous swing, which can be here, or it can be a little bit higher. I think it should be a little higher because this is a 30-minute. So 30-minute, I think your sweet spot would be about 30 pips. So with that said, you have that set up, you let it run. And there you go, full TP. Easy as that. So it's very simple. It's just following directions, basically, just going down the checklist. What some people do is they have like a little paper posted somewhere on their computer, and then they just check the list every time they see a trade so that they don't make any mistakes. Because sometimes I see some people, they forget about one of the requirements. Like there's 4 requirements here. Sometimes they'll ignore like maybe the first one. They'll just, they won't even think about that. And then at that point, there's already a mistake made,
That's good.
So yeah, I think if you like the strategy, this should be good. I made a lot of money off the strategy last year, this is one of my first strategies that I've used a long time ago. So I think if you practice this well enough, you should be able to catch some very good trades. Like even right here, see, again, same situation, trend down, retracement here, rejection, sell signal right here. If you took that trade right there, full TP, right? 30 pips again right there. So win, 2 wins back to back if you're to apply this strategy. And it works very well. It's very consistent. Yeah, a lot of trades here that you can take. All right, cool. So is there anything else that you want to cover? Or if you want to go over this more, we can go this further. It's up to you. It's your session. So anything that you want to cover, I'm here to help you.
Sometimes less is more.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So now that you have this down and the confusion is you're no longer confused, you can just focus on this strategy and just master it. Because the real key is, these strategies are easy. The hard part is mastering it. It's easy because I have a checklist for you here, but the real issue is going to be following the directions, right? Because sometimes you'll get greedy. Maybe you'll see one trade here, like something over here, and there's no trend, and you're like, oh, it looks like a good trade, so you'll take it. That's where you'll start to learn. Yeah, exactly. It's all about discipline and building your trade psychology. Because once you win enough trades with one strategy, you'll be confident. You don't have to think about it too much. You'll just take the trade and you'll let it do what it's supposed to do.
That's very true.
Definitely.
Thank you so much, Shawn. I really appreciate the time and the effort.
No, definitely. I'm glad we had this session. Sorry it took so long, but you know how busy it's been.
At least we've done it now. I've seen where I was going wrong. I really appreciate it. It's just left for me now to put in the work.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, definitely. And if you have any questions, like say if you see a trade that you're applying and then you're not sure if it's a good trade or not, you can send it to me. Just send me a screenshot. I'm sure you know how to take the screenshot. You just click this camera button right here, and then it'll give you a link. And then when you get that link, you can just send it to me. Like you can say, hey, Shawn, does this look like a good trade? And then I'll confirm it. And then you can take the trade just to give you confidence, because I know in the beginning you might be a little nervous. You're not sure if it's going to be proper or not. But I'm here to help you. I want to make sure that you're successful. Obviously, you see everyone in the group has been very successful over the past couple. You've only been with the group for maybe a couple weeks, maybe a month now. But I'm sure you've seen like everyone's progress so far.
Yeah.
It's been good. I want to see your profits next with everyone else.
Definitely, that will be the next step.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. So this was a good session. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out. Unless you have one right now, we can cover it. But otherwise, you know where to find me.
Yeah, I do. Thank you so much.
Definitely. All right, no problem, Divine. So this was a good session. But other than that, I guess I'll catch you in the live session tomorrow if you're on.
All right. Yeah. See you tomorrow.
Perfect. So I'll see you tomorrow. Good session.
All right. Thank you.